Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of the Smark and Soul podcast. Pop it into your ears, please. I'm Jack and I am joined by my illustrious co-host. She is the soul to my Smark and she is the soul to many people's lives. In fact, it is Samantha. How are we doing, Samantha?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. Thank you for my champion's introduction. I am a Premier League champion, for those who weren't aware. As we're recording the podcast, yesterday Arsenal lifted our first Premier League title in 22 years.
Yes.
And I wore my Arsenal jersey to work and I got congratulated enough times that I feel like I can lay a claim to a winner's medal now.
I think so.
I think that's how it works.
I think so too. You should go for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could
email Mikal.
Exactly. The worst he can say is no, you know, and the best he can say is, I like your fogging his standards. I'm going to bring you in for a team talk. And I'll happily be there.
Nice.
But that's enough yapping about football. We're not here to talk about fake sports. We're here to talk about real sports. And it doesn't get much realer, Jack, does it, than WrestleMania?
It doesn't. It's the showcase of immortals. It's the colossal tussle. It's got it all going on. WrestleMania. It is the Super Bowl of the professional wrestling world, or it used to be anyway.
It's the granddaddy of them all. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure this is episode 10 now. So I figured my maths might be wrong. I'm sure someone will correct me, but I thought let's go big for episode 10. And also last week we had Money in the Bank 2011, which was a really good show, and I'm trying to stay on that path. You know, lessons were learned with previous shows. So I thought, what is my personal favorite WrestleMania? WrestleMania 24. And much like Unforgiven 2006, I had this show on DVD as a kid, so I think partially that's why, is like I grew up watching this show a lot. So I wanted to see like how it would hold up and, you know, go through the ups and the downs of the show. So I guess we'll just get into it. The event WrestleMania 24 took place on March 30th 2008 in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. I think it's now called like the Camping World Resorts. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Attendance was 74,635. Buy rate was 1,041,000. And here's the most insane part.
Yes.
The ticket prices for this show ranged between $40 and $750. $750 got you ringside at WrestleMania 24.
You could justify that. I mean, nobody really has that amount to splash anyway, right? But you can justify front row WrestleMania for that price, I think.
Absolutely. Like, and $40, you know, getting you sort of nosebleeds or up there, you know, like that's roughly what we've paid for All In at Wembley. And we've been, you know, we've been high up, but you're there, you're enjoying the show, you're enjoying the kind of vibes around you and whatever. Yeah,
this will be our third All In at Wembley. I think it's gone up about like a $5, maybe. Well, it's around about like the same price, and
it's usually it's pretty much stayed the same price point, hasn't it?
Pretty much. And like there was one year where we were literally touching the fucking wall at the back of Wembley, and it was probably a bit too far back, but I mean it's fine. I mean, we still fucking enjoyed it, and it was a cheap enough night, you know. There's more to spend on beer and whatever else.
Yes.
Popcorn that you spill everywhere. And then getting the gift to a kid.
I gave it to a child, yeah. I was like, I was very drunk, and I was just like, do you want some of this popcorn?
Sam, you just kept coming up the fucking stairs with like a pack of 4 pints, just carrying it in a tray, and I was like, oh my god, I'm too old to be drinking this much now.
I think I'd just been paid. That was the problem.
Probably, yeah.
I'd been paid
it's always
a
on the
few
bank
days
holiday
before.
weekend. It's good weather, good vibes. You know,
Exactly.
it all flows and stuff. But when you look back at it, like a couple of years after, you're like, oh, I went a bit too fucking hard there.
Yeah, I don't remember a few matches on this show.
Yeah, right.
Like I had to watch that All In that Brian won the title at. I mean, I remember Brian winning the title because I remember like being on my knees and sobbing and like my makeup running down my face. But there was a lot of matches where I had to go back, and like I the less I remembered, the more I was like, oh yeah, I was getting drunker and drunker.
Yes.
Like I remember fewer and fewer spots from each match. But alas, less about my former drunken escapades. The background for this show: this was the first time ever that the WWE went to the Sunshine State for WrestleMania, which would be the first of 5 visits. We also had WrestleMania 28. Yeah, 28, 33, 36, and 37. Obviously, 36 being the COVID Mania,
Yes.
and 33 also being in this arena. The Citrus Bowl. 28 I think was in Miami instead of Orlando.
Because of the Rock and shit, right?
Yes, and then 37 was in Raymond James Stadium, which was in like, I think it's like St. Petersburg area of Florida. I'm not too sure.
pirate themed one.
Yeah, the one with the cool pirate ship, yeah. But I think the set design for WrestleMania 24 was, at this point, probably one of WWE's grandest sort of set designs.
It looks good. I mean, the first thing you notice is the big steel rig and the tarpaulin over the ring, and because it's outside, it's just like so much more spacious, and you're like, oh shit, that's a lot of fucking people.
And you've got this big tower at the entrance ramp. There was pyrotechnics that launched up to 2,000 feet in the air, as well as nearby barges on the lake, which would ignite fireworks during special entrances and victories and things like that. Roughly $300,000 was spent on fireworks alone. Ooh. Yes. The Citrus Bowl's locker rooms were on the south side of the stadium, and the entrance set was on the north, which meant that WWE had to build a tented 40,000 square feet mini-city outside the north end of the arena, which was like the backstage area, and it had air conditioning, trailers, VIP areas, showers, restrooms, everything. So because of this, the road next to the north end zone, called West Church Street, was closed down until a day after the event, which meant lots of other roads were also closed down to allow trucks and forklifts to move in mega equipment for the event. So like the big rigs, like you were saying, that were over the ring, which were constructed in Belgium, by the way. There's a fun fact. Yeah. And this was also the first WrestleMania to be filmed in high definition, and the first to be released on Blu-ray
HD.
Yeah, so there's a fucking whole rainstorm of information for you.
First evers, lots of first evers, and
lots of first evers and bigs and records and everything like that. Unfortunately, though, the weather didn't really follow kayfabe. As John Legend performed his rendition of America the Beautiful, there was some kind of little droplets of rain coming down and landed on the camera, and it was like, oh, this could have been so nice if it was sunny, but it never really. It was kind of overcast for like the first match, and then it quickly kind of became nighttime, I think. But getting into our opening hype package for the show, it focuses on how different the landscape of the WWE is from 1 year ago, which honestly just kind of dawned on me watching it. Yeah, we have new world champions, we have returns, and we have a potentially retiring Ric Flair. And your commentary team is Raw, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler; SmackDown, Michael Cole and Jonathan Coachman; and stealing a fucking living for the day, Joey Styles and Taz for ECW.
Yeah, honestly.
We get immediately into our first match, though, which is JBL versus Finlay with Hornswoggle. We have the first ever Belfast Brawl, and I'm pretty sure the last to date. But the background for this match was the Vince's illegitimate son angle.
Yeesh.
Originally, it was slated to be Mr. Kennedy, but then he had injuries and wellness violations and things like that he wasn't around on TV. So they were like,
video package for this, fucking, it just straight up showed Vince abusing.
Yes, yeah.
like
well,
his
no,
son.
he was trying to show Hornswoggle some tough love
Well,
inside a steel cage.
There's tough love, and then there's what?
Is this not how your father used to treat you?
No, unfortunately not. No.
I
No, I'm
need
sorry.
to speak to some people. Okay.
Following the standard.
But yeah, JBL continued to beat down the leprechaun, which obviously upset Finlay, his, I guess, handler, very much. And Vince, was very upset by this, and he demanded an apology from JBL, who, he said, "I'm sorry that I didn't do it sooner," or whatever JBL's voice sounds like. And he reveals that somehow JBL has this information that Vince doesn't have. But he reveals that Hornswoggle was actually Finlay's son. That leads us to a Belfast brawl. So, that's our opening match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, fuck it. Both men are at each other from the off. Before Finlay can even enter the ring, JBL is going after him. But eventually both men make their way into the ring and the bell sounds, and Finlay immediately goes under the ring for weapons. JBL, however, uses the trash can that Finlay throws into the ring to his advantage and clocks the Irishman over the head with it and gains the upper hand. After a very nice lariat, JBL brings the steel steps into the ring. After attempting a pile driver onto the top step, Finlay reverses it into a back body drop and begins walloping JBL with a cookie tray. Yummy. JBL does, however, regain the upper hand. Surprisingly, the cookie tray didn't take him out of action, with a big boost before beating Finlay down in the corner. JBL picks up Finlay's shillelagh to use, but Hornswoggle distracts him by hitting him with a kendo stick. Finlay takes advantage of this and clocks JBL with the shillelagh. Big pop from the crowd as Finlay pulls out a table and sets it up in the corner of the ring. JBL rolls out of the ring and knocks out Hornswoggle with a punch. He fucking wallops Hornswoggle, by the way.
Yeah.
This obviously enrages his father, Finlay, who bounces JBL's head off the announce table. Finlay then attempts a tope on JBL, which I was not expecting, but he's met with a trash can lid that hits with quite a sickening thwack. JBL gets a near fall, and in his frustration fucks a trash can at Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle, who has, by the way, just clambered back to his feet after being throttled by JBL the first time. JBL's like, fuck this, and throws the trash can full force at Hornswoggle. It's so funny looking.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but it's so funny. Finlay does fight back with the trash can lid, however, and throws JBL through the table, yippee, but only gets a 2 count. Finlay then hoists the steel steps above his head, but JBL takes him out of the ankles with a kendo stick before a clothesline from hell and the pin in 8 minutes and 43 seconds. Jack, what are we saying about this one, opening match?
I had a lot of fun with this one, to be fair. I gave it a 3 out of 5 overall because, I mean, if we're looking at the technicals, they're both like in the last stages of their career and stuff, but they did well with what they had, and it's, a sub 10-minute match. And I mean, it was fun. Yeah, it was above average. I mean, we got a pop for fucking Hornswoggle at WrestleMania coming out.
Huge pop.
Yeah, you got, and like, he's Finlay's son and not Vince's son and stuff. Like, the whole angle is just laughable.
Ridiculous.
And I don't know how JBL was delivering all of his lines in his promos with a straight face, so kudos to him. But I mean, like, the Finlay suicide dive and the trash can lid hitting, and the fucking Hornswoggle just getting fucking swept out by a fucking
he yeets
bin.
that trash can.
That was fun. I just had a lot of fun. And both guys are hard hitting. They've got brawler style, so it's not going to be a technical masterpiece, like I said. It's just that the story was just, I mean, it's a comedy weak story going in, really. They got a decent enough match. There was comedy, violence. You had a goodie versus a baddie for the casuals just tuning in. It was fine. Nice energy as well.
Yeah. I actually went 2.5.
Really?
Yeah, like the way that you've described this match sounds like the way that I would describe these matches normally. You know, there was some fun weapon spots and stuff, but there was nothing kind of like out of the ordinary or like, you know, particularly intriguing. I guess apart from Finley's tope, that did kind of catch me by surprise. Like it wasn't bad.
I think I gave it a half extra point just because of the hornswoggle spot on the outside.
You know what? That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, like it was decent. Just, you know, it wasn't anything more special than like a second hour of Raw or
no,
you know,
I get you.
A fun SmackDown match or whatever. But yeah, it was decent. Kim Kardashian is here, by the way. What?
There we are.
2008 Kim Kardashian, before she like got all of the surgeries in the world. She's like stunning. She's so pretty. Yeah, there's nothing behind those eyes though. As she reads off the teleprompter about the upcoming Money in the Bank match. But she's then interrupted by Mr. Kennedy, who says he's going to win the match for a second year in a row. So let's just go straight into that. That's our second match. See. The Money in the Bank ladder match, which is John Morrison versus MVP versus Chris Jericho versus Carlito versus CM Punk versus Mr. Kennedy versus Shelton Benjamin. This match was originally supposed to feature 8 men, the 8th of which being Jeff Hardy. Why do we think Jeff Hardy may have been pulled from this match? Answers on a postcard. If you guessed wellness policy violation, you were correct. That is why Jeff Hardy is not in this match. They decided to keep it at 7 rather than just filling out the numbers. But yeah, that's we get the cool John Morrison entrance, where they reveal during John Morrison's entrance that he beat The Miz to qualify for the ladder match. Thank fuck for that. Yeah. Because if there's one thing that's worse than 2018 Miz, it's 2008 Miz. Everyone immediately runs out of the ring searching for ladders, except for MVP. He's very smart. He stays in the ring and waits for people to start like bringing in their ladders, and then he'll like clock them with the ladder and clear house. Jericho, however, gets in and he wins a joust with MVP and sends him out of the ring. Jomo throws a ladder at Jericho and hits a moonsault to the outside while wielding a ladder like a nut job. Mr. Kennedy takes this opportunity when everyone has been taken out to set up a ladder in the ring. However, Jericho gets back in the ring, cuts him off, and slingshots Kennedy onto the ladder, which was a very like overworked kind of slingshot. Like, it was not the most convincing looking spot. But, you know, Kennedy starts scrambling up the rungs then. Morrison uses a ladder to launch himself into the ring across from Kennedy and join the fight atop the ladder. Shelton Benjamin is now here, and he hits a Tower of Doom on Kennedy and Morrison. My cat is clawing at the door, so let me let her out. 1 second. She's a big Miz fan, so she was very disappointed. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin hits the Tower of Doom on Kennedy and Morrison. Very nice. And then he begins climbing the ladder, but it's tipped over by Carlito, and the cat-like Shelton Benjamin balances on the top rope, throws the ladder towards Carlito, knocking him off, but then he tries to jump back onto the ladder, but I think he lands too high on it, so it like kind of buckles under his weight and he hits the floor. Punk then hits a GTS on Shelty Benji, but Kennedy hits it's not a Death Valley driver, but it's kind of like it's like a forward rolling Death Valley driver. Yeah, I'm not sure what the move's called. I
don't know. Like, it's a fireman's carry into a senton almost, but not a senton as well. And yeah,
yeah. I just wrote down a Death Valley driver like maneuver.
Yeah.
I could have gone the Michael Cole route and called it a DDT.
He planted him.
I didn't want to do that. Yeah. Yes. He planted him. And he does it onto a ladder as well. Very painful looking. MVP and Carlito now are at each other. And as MVP misses a haluva kick on Carlito in the corner, the Apple Chewer takes out his standing leg with a ladder-assisted chop block. Shelton Benjamin hits a mule kick on Carlito and begins climbing the ladder, but Carlito and Kennedy tip it over, sending Shelton through a ladder bridge that's been set up at ringside. Shelton hits like a swanton bomb on the ladder, basically, which is fantastic because it looks great and also is probably the safest way for him to go through that ladder as well.
Yeah.
Like, he spreads himself quite well. And it looks so cool. Kennedy, Carlito, and Jericho are now fighting atop the ladder, but MVP pushes it over. Morrison knocks MVP out of the ring and is met at the top of the ladder by Chris Jericho again, who locks in a walls of Jericho 15 feet in the air. Mr. Kennedy is atop a ladder next to Jericho, and as both men fight for the briefcase, CM Punk and Carlito join them, springboarding into the ring. Carlito hits Y2J with a backstabber off the top of the ladder, and MVP begins climbing the ladder. But wait! Who is it? It's Mr. Friday Nights. It's Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy has some unfinished business with MVP and takes him out with a twist of fate before getting out of dodge through the crowd. Jericho is beating everyone up with a ladder, but it eventually gets jammed in the rungs of another ladder, which Morrison somehow tries to climb, which was insane. Carlito tips him off that ladder and crotches him on the top rope. Very, very sore. He's going to be singing soprano or some other... I don't know. Is soprano the highest or is tenor the highest?
I don't know.
Either way, he's going to be singing very high. He can do drag now because he's pushed his testicles up. He has tucked nicely. CM Punk... Wait, no. I got distracted by drag queen balls. I'm sorry. Jericho's up top, but Carlito spits an apple in his face. Carlito has a hand on the briefcase, but Kennedy pushes him off. CM Punk knocks Kennedy off the ladder with another ladder, and Jericho runs back in, hitting Punk with a code breaker with a ladder. A few times now that Punk has been hit with, like, ladder-assisted moves. He eventually recovers, though, and relentlessly begins climbing the ladder, despite Y2J's best efforts and telling him to stay down, because he can't say, ask him, to the referee in this match. But both men are jostling for control of the briefcase, and Punk pulls Jericho's legs through a rung on the ladder before climbing it and grabbing the briefcase in, get this, right, all those spots that I just explained and described, 15 minutes and 12 seconds. Jack, what are your thoughts on this one?
Really good. I had loads of fun with this one as well. I went for 4 out of 5. There were some great fucking spots. You've got everyone in there is pretty much in their prime, or like young and hungry and come in and is like eager to please sort of thing. So that probably explains the amount of spots in the so little time that we have, but that's a great thing. I love the winner, obviously. Well, at the time, obviously, you know, all guys got their shit in and they also took some shit, I think, apart from I don't know what it was with Chris Jericho in this match, dude. Like, he appeared halfway through. Like, he didn't do anything for the first half.
And then he would just, like, pop up after taking, like, a finisher, like, 15 seconds later.
And then, and then it's like, like, he must have been like, I got to be involved with the finish, and it's got to be a piece of ingenious stuff that thwarts me, big old Chris Jericho, with his ego.
I invented this match, damn it.
Yeah, like, so there's that aspect as well, but fucking, it's still a great match. There was some really creative stuff. Shelton Benjamin got fucking pyro for his entrance, and I think this was like a star-making performance, really, from him. He had a really great showing, and he just like died over and over again and took the most insane spots. So honestly, fair enough to him. And yeah, for like a 14-15 minute match, they got loads in. On top of that, the cherry on top of the cake and everything, Matt Hardy returns for a big pop, and it sets up his feud, or like continuous feud with MVP, which he was famous for at the time over the US title. So good stuff.
Yeah, Matt Hardy and MVP had a really good feud at the time for the US title, I remember. Jack, sound the fucking alarm.
Okay.
Because it's taken 10 episodes, but finally, Samantha has found a 5-star match.
Oh, wow.
This, to me, was ladder match perfection.
Okay.
You look at the cast of characters we have, this is like perfect Money in the Bank wrestlers. Right? Guys who are not too high up on the card to be, you know, like nowadays you've got like Drew McIntyre is going to be in the Money in the Bank.
You've got like all Seth former Rollins. World champions and stars already in it, instead of like
no,
mid-carders.
This is how it should be. It should be guys who either haven't held the world title in a long time, like Jericho, or guys who have never had it and, you know, have had like IC title reigns or US title reigns. But this was just genuinely, I know it's like an old cliche, but legitimately action too fast to call at times. Yeah. I had to pause this match multiple times to try and like keep up with the notes. High spots galore and zero downtime. This was hook this to my veins. 15 minutes 12 seconds, beautiful amount of time for this kind of match. It doesn't drag on too long, and that was the problem that I had last week with, I think, was it the Raw ladder match that went like 24 minutes, and it just kind of, you know, in between all the big spots there was kind of some like downtime and setting up and whatever, but this was literally just like, do this spot, okay, and then he's going to come in and do his spot, and then he's going to come in and do his spot, and it's like they also kind of have to do this.
Fewer rest spots. Yes,
and you know, they're doing this with one fewer man in the match as well. But yeah, this to me was this was worthy of a 5-star.
Awesome. I'm glad you've given something a 5.
Me too. I was waiting for it. I was like I was sitting there watching it afterwards. I was like, oh my god, there's no doubt in my mind. This is not a 4.75. This is a 5.
That's amazing. And I'm so happy for you.
I was very happy. I'm having the time of my life this week.
Amazing. Can I also just give a shout out to the 2008 Money in the Bank graphic, like that shows up before the match? It's just peak 2008, and I really liked it. That's all.
Big fan with the 2 ladders and then the green dollar signs.
It just made me miss that time, and like everything just looks the same now with graphics, and it's all in your face and stuff. And I was just like, oh shit, simpler time, nice.
and it was nice to have it on Mania as well. Of like, I do think Mania needs to have not necessarily a Money in the Bank every year. Like, I'm fine with it having its own pay-per-view, but I do think it needs this kind of thing every year, like the multi-man kind of ladder match, or like the tag team 4-ways and stuff like that. Just like these crazy multi-man matches that like they don't need like a bunch of storytelling going into them, but you just know that they're going to be fun once it starts, you know?
Yeah.
It's Hall of Fame time. We get a recap of the previous night's induction ceremony, which featured some really heartfelt speeches, some funny old stories, and footage of Edge holding a digital camera really weirdly. The inductees and their families are presented to the crowd. We have Jack and Jerry Briscoe, the family of Gordon Soley, Rocky Johnson, who performs a nice little tidy little 2-step. We have also the wife and daughter of High Chief Peter Maivia, Eddie Graham's son Mike, Mae Young, who gets a fucking huge pop, appearing the day after her 100th birthday, and then has to be prevented by Mike Graham from stripping off in front of everybody. Classic slut. And Ric Flair's children. Speaking of sluts, it's Ric Flair. He is represented by his children, which includes a baby Charlotte Flair. Aww. This was, you know, sweet. It was nice to see them their moment in the sun, you know? Yeah. Todd Grisham is joined backstage by Martha Stewart's N-word pass, Snoop Dogg. Snoop says he has found a kindred spirit backstage in none other than Festus. Santino Marella, he interrupts and he says that he will be ringside for the Playboy Bunny Mania match. And he tells Snoop Dogg that if you're thinking of trying something funny business, that he'll stop it. You've got the big mouth, John Cena. I love doing Santino impressions. It's very fun. There's a conveniently placed ringside bell nearby, which Snoop rings, and Festus awakens and chases off Santino. And Todd's like, Snoop, how did you get that? And he's like, oh, I know a guy. And who is the guy that he knows? Mick Fizzle. Yeah, he says, Fizzle Dizzle, have a nice... no, what is it? He says, Fizzle Dizzle, have nizzle. Yeah, and then he tells everyone to have a nice dizzle. One of the cats is yelling really loudly outside.
Got some strong opinions on this backstage segment.
Yeah, man, she's not a fan of Snoop Dogg at all. She likes Mick Foley, but she doesn't like when he's kind of wheeled out in these situations. Yeah. Brand supremacy time.
Eesh.
Umaga versus Batista, which is basically just they wanted both guys on the card and couldn't find a way to do so chuck them together. We have Teddy Long and William Regal at ringside as GMs for SmackDown and Raw respectively, even though Teddy Long wasn't actually the GM, it was Vicky Guerrero. But I guess Teddy Long was kind of just like Vicky Guerrero's bitch at this time. Like, that was just what he did. I always kind of got the sense that, like, Batista and Teddy Long were, like, really good friends, and I liked that. Like, the way that Teddy introduced Batista, like, really hype, and they were all, like, happy to see each other and stuff. I was like, you know what, it's nice to see friends working together. And then William Regal introduces the Samoan bulldozer, Umanga! Which I always loved his mispronunciation of that, and I don't know where it stemmed from, but I'm glad that he never stopped doing it.
I have no idea, but it's fun.
No. Both men start exchanging some heavy blows on each other to start things off. Umaga, unlike many others, has the power advantage over Batista, but Dave has the speed. Umaga takes Batista off his feet with a spinning heel kick and then a big boot off the apron. Umaga hits a big splash to Batista's lower back for a 2 count, and the Samoan bulldozer is firmly in charge. Umaga now is working on the back of Batista with some wicked Irish whips into opposite turnbuckles. Umaga has a nerve hold on the neck of Batista, which is great. The ringside area are loudly in favour of Umaga. Like, they are very much invested in the Samoan bulldozer. Umaga attempts a diving headbutt from the second rope, but Batista avoids it. Dave then attempts a body slam, but his back gives way, and Umaga gets a 2 count after flattening the animal, and we're back to a rest hold. Batista attempts to fight out, but Umaga hits a Samoan drop for a 2. Batista starts fighting back again, blocking a Samoan spike and sending Umaga into the ring post before a big spine buster. Batista then hits a Batista bomb while off balance and gets the 3 count in 7 minutes and 3 seconds. Jack, what do we think of this one?
It was fine. 2.25 out of 5 I gave it. There was too much plodding along, and there were too many long rest holds for a 7-minute match, but I guess it did its job as a bit of like a slugging it out hoss fight and whatnot. Like, on the night, fine. For like the casuals, it's fine, but for like lifelong wrestling fans like you or I, we can see that it was just a poorly put together, let's get both of these guys on the card kind of match. But I like both guys as workers and at the time as well, so yeah, it was just fine, just below average, you know.
It is kind of crazy to think that, like, literally the WrestleMania before this, Batista was in the main event against Undertaker, and now he's just like, third match of the night, like, he's in the piss break match, basically. I gave this 2 stars. I was very underwhelmed. I thought the Batista finishing off Umaga with literally just a spine buster and a Batista bomb with like no other real offense was very disappointing, and it made Umaga look not very strong. Yeah, it was just a very kind of nothing match altogether, really, wasn't it? And like, there wasn't any kind of big repercussions. Like, there was no like title opportunity on the line for either man or whatever. It was just like, it was an exhibition match, basically, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. And they tried to just disguise it as a brand supremacy thing, which I get it would pull the wool over the casual fans' eyes, and they'd be like, oh, fine, this is a fun thing, but we're just like, oh, yeah, it's bullshit, but whatever, let's move on.
We know that Survivor Series exists, you know? Next up, we see Floyd Mayweather on his bus with his entourage, who seem very excited for their upcoming bout with... Who is it, Jack? Who's Floyd Mayweather fighting on this show, Jack?
He's fighting the Big Show and podcast legend Paul White.
He's fighting our friend and yours, the Big Show / Paul White / the Giant. We get to see a tale of the tape that shows us the huge disparity between both men, with Big Show outweighing the welterweight champion by almost 300 fucking pounds. That's like 300 pounds on its own. That's a big boy. Oh, yeah. To have a difference of 300 pounds between 2 fully grown men, that's crazy. But enough about that. Yeah, let's talk about Chavo Guerrero versus Kane. Kane became #1 contender for the ECW Championship on the pre-show by winning a Battle Royal by last eliminating Mark Henry. It's worth noting that Hardcore Holly was also in the final 5 of that Battle Royal, which I think was entirely his decision. But who's here to introduce Chavo Guerrero and Kane. Armando.
Yeah.
Alejandro. I can't do the rolling R's. Estrada.
Nice.
And he doesn't like Kane.
No.
He thinks that Kane is a big red, como se dice, dummy. Haha. But yeah, he introduces Chavo Guerrero with like so many rolling R's that I could only ever dream to do. After Chavo's entrance, kind of sus that the champion is coming out first. I wonder why. Kane, cowardly, obviously afraid of Chavo Guerrero and what he would do to Kane, sneaks in the ring and hits the champion, a world champion, by the way, with a single chokeslam before the pin in 8 seconds. And Kane is your new ECW champion.
Yeah.
Fuck you, ECW.
Yeah. Not great, right?
So not great, I gave this a dud.
Same.
This was fucking terrible.
I've also done my rebooking based off this.
Good.
And I know that you wanted me to go like pretty hog wild with it from the last episode, but I feel like I really struggled with this whole WrestleMania to find something, and so it's
just tidy, isn't it?
It is tidy, but I had a little nugget of an idea that could have maybe made it better, and then tie it into the overall WWE storyline and all other storylines as well. So I'll run it through in a minute, but it's just not as wild as the last one, because the last one I was actually able to like fucking change 2 years worth of
yeah, the last one was kind of WWE Universe mode.
Exactly, yeah. So anyway, match 3 and 4, 2 consecutive matches with, I mean, arguably quite a lot of meaty men, but there's no meaty stories. You've got Kane squashing Chavo in no time after winning a battle royal that no one fucking watched. Batista beats Umanga in a brand supremacy match, as we discussed, and like I said, it just got them both on the card, and that was it. So let's start with the ECW title match first. Sorry. It's been sort of kind of part of this La Familia storyline with Edge and Vicky and the Edgeheads and all that in 2008. So Edge helped Chavo win the title back in January, just for context for the ECW title. So Edge effectively was able to control 2 of the 3 of WWE's world titles, and he's trying to like create a bit of a faction and dominate, you know, as any fucking faction leader does. So Chavo knew this, and he wasn't really keen on Edge and Vicky, but he sort of fell in line a bit, like, you know, what Jay and Jimmy keep doing with Roman, because he was offered the chance to become ECW champion. Vicky used her power as SmackDown GM to finagle a no DQ match. Edge speared and basically screwed over CM Punk, which will come into play later, and Chavo won it from him. So Chavo won the ECW title from Punk and then lost it to Kane in a nothing match at Mania. So we can do something there, sort of. It was an embarrassment having the only ECW title match ever at WrestleMania be 8 seconds, and I know the writing was on the wall for the brand anyway, but let's just fucking have a crack at it. So we've got instead of Chavo versus Kane shouldn't be the challenger at all. Let's give it to a proper ECW guy, I'd say, like Tommy Dreamer, who is currently part of the roster and wrestling. Hear me out, I know he has his problems and everything, but he's the closest thing we have to an ECW original to try and like get some of that hardcore fan base back, because right now it's just dead in the water. You might as well use all the money at your disposal to then make more money, you know. That was always the Vince way, and I think this is probably a better idea anyway. So Tommy Dreamer had been on ECW TV every week in early 2008. He was consistently sort of coming up short in contender matches, and you could have him watch La Familia sort of take over his brand, really like WWE eyes it, have the Edgeheads go over there, whatever. Like, you can fucking have a lot of fun with that, and it's all through politicking basically. And he doesn't need a complicated story. He's just Tommy Dreamer. He's the ECW original. Just give him some motivation and push him slightly on ECW TV. That's all you fucking need. He feels that ECW has been bought, it's not the same, blah blah blah. He misses the old style. Fuck it, have him against Chavo. Cut. So this is the thing though, I want to cut Batista and Umaga completely and cut obviously Chavo Kane, have Chavo versus Dreamer for the title in an Extreme Rules match, and have that go, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. So it replaces just a match that has no meaning, and then it replaces this awful title match. You can have Dreamer win a number one contender match a few weeks back, whatever. Chavo can come in with the Edge heads in tow as backup, because now we've set the stakes that La Familia are really involved in. Like, why would you not have more people out there in your story?
Yeah.
They're backstage, just have them out and part of the story, right? Have like the cross-brand empire, have the storytelling throughout your whole fucking thing. Jesus Christ, this is just lazy. Dreamer can win, he gets his Mania moment, it's a bit of a like, yeah, cool, woo. I know the brand's dead anyway. You might as well just fucking have one last moment. It's a decent showcase match for the ECW brand if it's Extreme Rules as well. I know it might be probably too similar to the Belfast Brawl match, and that's the only kind of hole I can pick at in this plan. But Belfast Brawl and Extreme Rules after, fuck it. We're getting Flair and Michaels soon. That's just going to be a fucking in-ring storytelling. So
Exactly.
Anyway, after the match, after Tommy Dreamer wins the title, CM Punk comes out with his newly won Money in the Bank briefcase, and people are like, oh my god, is he going to cash in already? He's only just won it. But he's like limping down, but he gets in the ring, he stares at Dreamer, and he grabs a mic, and he's just like, I know exactly what this contract is worth in my hands. And he's just like, whether it's Dreamer here that I cash in on, or whether it's Edge or Taker in the main event, nobody's safe. Even the triple threat, Randy, Cena, H, nobody's fucking safe. I'm putting everyone on notice, and that's it. But he looks into the camera or backstage, and he's just like, but you and I, Edge, we have unfinished business because you screwed me out of the title and blah blah blah. Yeah, the Batista and Umaga match, it's fine, I can justify cutting that. I mean, yeah, I guess it's bad not having Batista really part of WrestleMania, but what we could do is play on his and Ric Flair's relationship that they had been building up, and when everything happens at the end of Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, which we'll come to next, we can maybe have a quick shot of Batista backstage looking on. And I know he was soon to start a program with Michaels because of what happened after Mania, so I think that would just be a nice little nod and plant the seed for maybe the next night on Raw. And I know you have a star benched, but shit happens, it's WrestleMania, and it's better than what we currently have. That's literally all I've changed, because everything else can play out pretty much the way it did, because Punk ends up cashing in on Edge anyway to win the world title. So I think this just kind of cleans up a lot of stuff and has some interconnecting stories that would have made a lot of sense at the time and made some of these matches on WrestleMania feel a little bit empty. So yeah, and if I wanted to actually go even wilder, instead of benching Batista, have him join the world title main event and make it a triple threat match. Have Edge be obsessed with beating the streak, but then he's pissed off at Batista as well for like interfering and making it a triple threat match. You have more threat for Taker to defend his streak as well and win the title. I don't know, there's more stakes. It's just another wild idea. It wasn't part of my idea originally, but just off the cuff there. Fuck it.
Yeah, I did find it odd, like that whole 2007 was Taker and Batista.
Yes.
And then, Edge obviously got injured, came back, and then Batista was just kind of like, I don't really know what we're going to do with you. He definitely could have stayed in that title picture. But as for this, I'm a big fan of this rebooking.
Oh, thank you.
I know I was saying last week about how I like the more outlandish ones, but I like when you get a nice, neat and tidy one that makes sense, and it doesn't kind of upset the apple cart too much, and you don't have to go, oh well, and then 6 months down the line this is going to happen, and then that's going to change this, and then you can see the timeline start splitting off. But yeah, I think it what was the point of giving the world title to Kane? Who fucking cares about Kane in 2008 being an ECW champion? Yes, give it to Tommy Dreamer. He's had
just have a natural underdog story.
Yeah, he had so many of these nearly moments and losing number one contender matches and everything like that, and this would just make so much more sense. The crowd would have been so much more into it as well, because you've got a WrestleMania crowd. They're going to be naturally more kind of smarky, wise to everything kind of fans, so it would have made for a much better moment. I am going to give the thumbs up for this.
Thank you very much.
I think I usually do, to be fair.
Yeah, you do usually.
But this one is really good. Moving on from that dud. Not your rebooking the match.
No,
I mean,
we're back to reality.
We
now.
get not necessarily back to reality, because we get a cinematic of Maria and Carlito on a date.
Oh yes.
And Carlito is trying to convince Maria to leave Santino because he's he's a fool, and he's got that stupid accent, which obviously is a joke about how Carlito apparently has a stupid accent. But he then gets assaulted by a legion of seagulls, and that was just like a little kind of postcard from WrestleMania, which I liked those little segments. I thought those were fun. But guess what, baby? That is so Raven. Raven Simone is here to show off the Make-A-Wish kids in attendance. It was 50 kids from 50 different states who were all part of like the Make-A-Wish program, who were all invited to WrestleMania. And don't forget though, her debut album is going to be out soon. Jerry Lawler apparently is a huge Raven Simone fan. That's what he says. He checks Raven Simone's website all the time, no doubt hoping for leaks of intimate images of Raven Simone, because that's the kind of person Jerry Lawler is. Anyway, moving swiftly on, it's Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels time. The background for this one is in the fall of 2007, Vince McMahon told Ric that the next time he loses a match, his career will be over. So his first victory came over Rob Conway on that episode of Raw. Luckily he was able to survive that ordeal. And as time went on, he would face more competent challenges against the likes of Randy Orton, MVP, Mr. Kennedy. And then in February of 2008, he challenged Shawn Michaels to a match at WrestleMania, claiming that if he is to go out, he wants to go out against the best. HBK was initially very hesitant, and he didn't want to be the one to retire Ric, but eventually Ric got him on side. HBK eventually came around, and he cuts kind of a heelish promo and referred to Ric as Old Yeller, and tells Ric that he would put him out of his misery. I'm not doing it justice. Like, it was really fucking... It was so good. Like, emotion from both men during that promo. Like, Ric gets, like, in Shawn's face, and he's, like, slapping him, and he's like, oh, Old Yeller, huh? And Shawn's like I said, I'm gonna put you out of your misery. We get to the match. Both men with like their obvious, extravagant, fabulous entrances. It's WrestleMania, it's Ric Flair, it's Shawn Michaels. You know what you're gonna get.
Oh yeah, all the pageantry.
Yes. We start off with some lovely, clean and crisp chain wrestling to start off this bout between two of probably the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, honestly. Yep. Flair hits a really nice hip toss before strutting his stuff, kind of showing to Michaels like, yeah, I've still got it. Like, I think Jerry Lawler says the line, he may have taught everything Shawn Michaels knows, but he didn't teach Michaels everything he knows, which I thought was a nice little nugget there. But Flair gets Michaels in the corner, and he starts making reference to the Old Yeller comments that HBK made. HBK, though, then smacks Flair in the face and cuts Flair's lip open, and the two begin exchanging chops with each other. Now, Flair might be the slower of the two men, but he's still a wily veteran, pulling Michaels off the top rope by the hair as HBK attempts an elbow drop. Flair also goes up high and hits a crossbody for a two count. Ric attempts a figure four, but Michaels launches him out of the ring and misses an apron moonsault, landing ribs first onto the commentary table, which looked fucking brutal. Like, really sore. The way it, like, collapses in. Ugh. Michaels does eventually get in the ring at a referee's count of 8, but Ric is immediately on top of him, giving him no breathing room, focusing on the lower back of Michaels, and getting a 2 count after a back suplex. Flair then hits a beautiful standing vertical suplex on Mr. WrestleMania for a 2 count. I was not expecting that out of Ric Flair. Amazing. Michaels does eventually cause some separation with a spinning neck breaker before sending Flair to the outside again with a back body drop. Michaels goes up top, and this time he pulls off a successful moonsault, and now both men are down as the referee reaches a 9 count. Both men are exchanging chops in the middle of the ring now, and Michaels hits Flair with a running forearm before a kip up and 2 inverted atomic drops. Both men are visibly struggling, Michaels with his injured ribs and Flair with the inevitable marching of time. Michaels fights through the pain and hits a flying elbow drop from the top rope. Michaels then begins tuning up the band for a sweet chin music, but his inability to pull the trigger gives Flair the chance to lock in the figure 4 slap bang in the middle of the ring. Michaels, however, reverses the pressure, but Flair gets to the ropes. We then get some counter wrestling between the two, which ends in a sunset flip roll-up, which Flair fights out of. Flair then hits a chop block on Michaels before attempting another figure 4, which Michaels turns into a roll-up that Flair kicks out of. Michaels then misses a mule kick, and once again Flair locks in the figure 4. Michaels almost gets to the ropes, but Flair drags him all the way back into the middle. Michaels attempts to reverse the pressure, but Flair rolls all the way through, and Michaels eventually, desperately reaches the bottom rope. Flair is now targeting Michaels' leg, but gets met with a surprise super kick. This was literally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Michaels, however, is so spent that by the time he tries to cover Flair, Rick kicks out at 2. Michaels is really struggling with his leg now and drags himself to the corner and begins tuning up the band. He's desperately asking Flair to get to his feet. Michaels is sick of it now. He's like, oh, fuck this. He then approaches Flair to pick him up, but Flair low blows Michaels while the referee's view is obstructed. We get a 2 count for that. HBK locks in an inverted figure 4 on Flair, who scoots over to the bottom rope. Flair pulls off the bottom turnbuckle pad to distract the referee again and shove a thumb in HBK's eye. Both men are on their knees and chopping each other, but eventually they're climbing up to their feet. Michaels again hits a desperation super kick, and he pulls himself up in the corner. He goes to tune up the band, but he stops. Flair gets to his feet and he puts his jukes up as if to show that, you know, he's still willing to go. He's still in this fight. Michaels then mouths the infamous line, "I'm sorry, I love you," to Ric Flair before one final super kick and ending the WWE career of Ric Flair in 21 minutes and 34 seconds. Jack, what do we make of this one?
Well, great wrestling match between two of the best in-ring performers ever. We said it at the start and we'll say it at the end. Wow, it lived up to the fucking hype, didn't it? I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it was probably just a shame that this wasn't Rick's last ever match, just ever.
Yeah.
That probably leaves a slightly bitter taste in the mouth looking at this match retrospectively, 20 years on, but still, it's a fucking awesome match. The crowd was super into it. Both guys, like, I fucking love it when just both guys put all of their trust in each other and they give each other everything. They sell every little thing because it just builds up the tension in the match and it just makes everything so much easier. Like, it was so good. Rick is just so good at selling his desperation to fucking just win and do anything to win. Sean, I know it's kind of like a little bit cheesy when he like couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger the first time, but I think they played that off really well, and it was fine, and it earned it, and it earned every moment, and yeah, it was really, really good. Really good. I loved it.
Jack, we've gone 10 episodes, well, technically 9 episodes, without me giving out a single 5-star match. Yeah. And we now have a show where I have given out 2.
Wow.
Everything about this match was just like the epitome of WrestleMania to me.
Yeah.
It was like, you had this tremendous in-ring storytelling, huge emotion. Like you said, the crowd were like hanging on to every move of both men, because it was just like you said, that desperation from like both men sold the emotion of the match so well, of like, and you know, Sean not being able to pull the trigger at first, but then by the end he's like, okay, this is the best thing that I can do. This is what Rick wants. You know, it was almost like it, like he said, he's putting Rick out of his misery almost. You know, he's like Rick trying to convince Sean, like, you know, and Rick in tears as well, like putting his fists up, like, no, I can still go, but he can't anymore. Like both men, like you said, pulling out all the stops, like they just, because it's two guys as well who just have like tremendous respect for each other. So they're like, well, you know, they obviously would have had the conversation before of like, well, what are we going to do for, you know, this has to be a special match, and they have just that's what they did. They put on a special match that lived up to the hype, which, you know, I think it would have been hard for this to have been a bad match, but I'm so glad that it wasn't. And that finish of like the "I'm sorry, I love you" is just, it's like up there in like the pantheon. You know, when they talk about like WrestleMania moments, TM, like every year of like that's his WrestleMania that was genuinely a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that is something that goes in like the video packages. Yes, exactly. It wasn't just like a oh yes, this person has won the US title, for the first time at Mania. That's what a WrestleMania moment. And they have to say it like 7 or 8 times during the show. The best WrestleMania moments are the ones where you don't have to say that it's a WrestleMania moment. And this is a WrestleMania moment. Trademark, copyright, whatever. Just fucking incredible.
I think I probably would have ended up giving it 5 if Rick hadn't come out of retirement 88 times and especially not done the last ever match, which was just a couple of years ago. So
the tag match.
That's just me cynically looking back at it, because I think if this match was legitimately his last ever match, like legit, fucking 5 stars. Jesus, fuck yeah. But he fucking like the next year basically in TNA, or the same year.
He was in TNA,
and then like he had a few dates here and there, and fucking I don't know.
It was his last wrestling match in WWE though, so you know. There's that at least.
Yeah, but but like if you love,
come on, give it 5 stars.
And you love the sanctity.
Give it 5 stars.
I'm not giving it 5 stars.
Give it 5.
I've got my reason.
Come on. Go on. Yeah, I do get that, because that was something that like it did cross my mind as well at one point, where I was like, but he did come back. But I was like, but Samantha, you're supposed to be the soul, not the smark.
That's true.
You're looking at the match in a vacuum, and how did it make you feel in that vacuum? And I was like, you're right, inner me. This is 5 stars. So yeah.
Amazing. I'm glad you've got 2 on this show. It's fucking awesome.
I'm so fucking happy about that. Yeah, considering we also have a dud on this show, considering what the next match is about to be as well. We get a backstage segment to kind of bring some air back into everyone's lungs, and clear out the emotions, and a palate cleanser. Todd Grisham is backstage with Edge, and Edge talks about he was a kid watching WrestleMania 6, and he was the biggest Hulkamaniac in Canada. I wonder if he would still say that today. And he was so excited to watch his hero Hulk Hogan beat the Ultimate Warrior, but Hulk Hogan lost, and that was the day his innocence was taken away from him, which is a very that's big to say that, you know. But he makes that comparison then between Hogan and Taker, and how Taker is like, no matter how bad people's lives are, no matter how boring and mundane, they can always rely on the Undertaker to win at WrestleMania. But he is going to give everyone a cold hard dose of reality, and he is going to be the one that beats the streak, and he is going to beat the Undertaker tonight. Good promo actually, this, really, for kind of just like a really quick sort of backstage thing. Very, very nice. Fuck. Okay. Beth Phoenix and Melina with Santino Marella by their side versus Ashley Massaro and Maria Kanellis. There she goes again, like good medicine. There she digs, my blood is flowing. Her legs go on and on. That's the best part of this match, honestly, was just hearing her entrance theme. We do get like a halftime show before the match starts though, like a big fuck off fireworks display as Lillian Garcia announces the match. An audible pop can be heard from all of the men who are walking red flags in the crowd. Snoop Dogg arrives driving a Mercedes branded golf cart as the women's roster follows behind. They are the Lumberjills for this match. Obviously, Jerry Lawler is having the time of his decrepit and degenerate life right now. By the way, Beth Phoenix is the women's champion, and this is what she's doing at WrestleMania. It's women's. They introduced the Divas Championship in 2008, and they at first had both titles. I think the Divas Championship was on Raw, on SmackDown, and the Women's Championship was on Raw, or it could have been the other way around, but they definitely had both titles running together for a bit, and then they discarded the Women's title, and it was the Divas title, and yeah. I didn't take any fucking notes for the moves in this match, because what was the point? It was very basic, wrestling school match. Jerry Lawler though gets involved in the finish, he knocks out Santino Marella when Santino breaks up a pinning attempt by Maria. You know, good guy Jerry Lawler standing up for women. The bad guys win, though. Beth wins with a muscle buster on Maria in exactly 5 minutes. I think the most interesting thing about this match was the lights went out during the middle of it.
Yes.
And my brain immediately went, what the fuck is Undertaker doing here? But it wasn't. Post-match angle, Snoop Dogg hits Santino Marella with a clothesline and begins necking on with Maria in the middle of the ring. By the way, Snoop Dogg is a married man, has been for many years. I'd love to have heard the conversation between him and his wife before this one. Yeah, I gave the actual match like a 1.5 because it wasn't terrible. Like, it wasn't super sloppy or anything like that. It was just plain, you know. It was a ham sandwich, no mayo kind of thing.
I'd say it was fucking sloppy. Did you see some of the hits that the Lumberjacks were getting in?
Oh yeah, but I didn't give. I didn't really care about them.
Okay.
I don't consider lumberjack matches real.
Right.
So anytime something goes on in the outside, it's none of my concern.
Right. Okay. You just tune it out.
Yeah, I kind of just turn a blind eye, and I'm like, I just get because you know what's coming. You know, it's going to be punch kick, and then rolled back into the ring. So I don't really give a fuck about about what they do on the outside.
I fucking do, but that's fine.
I was watching everybody's outfits as they were coming down the entranceway and around the ring to see if I could spot any worst dressed or best dressed. And I certainly did, and we will certainly get to that at the end of the night.
Awesome. I can't wait to pretend I know exactly who you are and what they're wearing.
Do you have any other lingering thoughts about this, or can we move on?
I gave it a 1 out of 5, and I said not good. So yeah, move on.
Yeah, that's fair. Up next, it's a triple threat match for the WWE Championship between John Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton. You know what? There was actually, like, there was quite a lot of build to this one. You know, whether sort of directly or indirectly, both of Randy's challengers... Oh, it's worth noting, Randy Orton is the WWE Champion going into this match. Both of the challengers suffered kind of severe injuries while sharing the ring with Randy in 2007. Like I said, whether directly or indirectly, this happened, so it's kind of a built-in story. Triple H tore his quad in a tag team match between DX and Rated RKO at New Year's Revolution, which forced him to miss roughly 7 months of action, including WrestleMania 23. Triple H would return, however, at SummerSlam, where he defeated Carlito for some reason, before immediately setting his sights on Randy Orton and the WWE Championship. After injuring John Cena after a brutal beatdown on Monday Night Raw, which resulted in a torn pectoral muscle, Orton was awarded the vacant WWE Championship at No Mercy. Triple H, however, beat Orton for the title, but by the end of the night, the belt would end up back around the waist of the Legend Killer. Cena would spend 4 months on the sidelines, miraculously, returning in dramatic fashion as the final entrant in the 2008 Royal Rumble, last eliminating Triple H to earn his title shot at WrestleMania 24. However, Cena decided that he wanted his championship match to take place at No Way Out instead, because what okay, so that doesn't make sense to me. What you, as the Royal Rumble winner, are like, yeah, no, I don't want the main event of WrestleMania. I actually want to fight him at No Way Out instead.
Yeah, I don't want the biggest payday of my career.
Do you know what I mean?
Most highs. I want a B-level pay-per-view.
Yeah. Orton did retain the title by getting himself intentionally disqualified, and Triple H would win the Elimination Chamber match on the same night to become the number one contender. Cena, however, argued his case the following night on Raw that he deserved a fair shot at the title, and Raw general manager William Regal agreed, which scheduled a triple threat between the three for Mania. So yeah, that's your meaty background to this. John Cena is played to the ring by a marching band, but for some reason the marching band begin by playing God Save Our Queen. Did you hear this?
Yeah, I started to. Yeah,
I was like, what? Okay.
The Englishman in me started to rise up.
Oh, did it really?
The sofa.
You started saluting, and you're like, "Oh, what's happening? What's happening?"
I was like, "Oh shit, I've been activated."
Yeah, like a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
There was an AT&T poll that had been running throughout the night, asking the question of who is going to walk out of WrestleMania 24 as champion.
Again, very 2008.
Oh, yeah, but I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
52% of fans voted for Cena, 40% of fans voted for Triple H, and 8% of fans voted for Randy Orton, which is crazy, considering what happens. Anyway, as the bell rings, Orton, much like Baron Corbin at Crown Jewel against Braun Strowman, immediately snatches the title belt from the referee and clocks Triple H over the head with it. That's what we call a callback. Cena, however, is quickly on top of the champ, but Triple H dumps both he and Randy out of the ring. He's allowed to no-sell a title shot to the face. Anyway, he focuses on the champion and throws him into and over the announce desk. Triple H then locks in a sleeper hold in the ring, but Cena attempts a double AA. H escapes and low blows Cena, but Orton comes out on top, hitting an inverted backbreaker on the Cerebral Assassin. Orton is methodically stomping on both of his challengers. Going to the top rope, however, Cena meets him, but H and Orton double team for a doomsday device. Cena rolls through and attempts another AA, but Orton escapes and remains in control of the match. Orton hits a Dripping DDT on both Cena and Triple H, and gets 2 near falls on his challengers. Orton is waiting for the first man to reach their feet so he can deliver an RKO. Cena is up first, but he reverses the RKO and hits Orton with a blockbuster and a top rope leg drop. Setting up for the STFU, Orton escapes and lures Cena into him, tossing him into the ring post on the outside. Triple H is back to his feet in the ring and begins focusing on the champion's leg. Cena attempts to get back in on the action, but he is quickly snuffed out with a clothesline by Triple H before an RKO out of nowhere. Cena locks in the STFU and Orton is in no man's land. However, Triple H from the outside pulls Orton to the bottom rope before tossing Cena into the steel steps at ringside, so he can once again focus on the champion with what JR generously describes as an Indian deathlock. It was just a very sloppy figure 4, but JR was trying to cover for him, I guess. Cena rushes back in and hits a gnarly Irish whip on Triple H, which flies him out of the ring over the corner, before locking in the STFU on Orton once again. Triple H, though, obviously gets back in to break up to submission, but Cena won't release, so Triple H locks in a crossface on Cena. The crowd is urging Cena to tap, but he reaches the bottom rope eventually. Cena and Triple H are exchanging blows in the middle of the ring, but Cena begins the 5 moves of doom. Cena hoists H up for an FU, Triple H escapes, but then Cena counters a pedigree attempt, and eventually Triple H pulls off a double A spinebuster. Orton attempts to get back in the ring, but Triple H chop blocks him and hits a pedigree. But Orton breaks it up with a punt and pins Cena to win in 15 minutes and 10 seconds. Even in defeat, Triple H must get over somehow. He hits the pedigree on Cena, but then doesn't get the pin, but Cena is so devastated from that pedigree that Orton gets the pin on him anyway. He doesn't have to hit any further offense. What did you think of this one, though?
I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. I liked it, and again, it's pretty much a sub 15 or 15ish minute match, and it was good for that. It was a good a decent enough pace. We started off with the nice fast pace. We slow it down to let Orton get his heat because he's in this cerebral fucking insane mode, isn't he, as the top guy with the title. Some nice moves, and apart from we need a note on how awful John Cena's STF looks. It
was really bad.
You're in a fucking WWE title match at WrestleMania, John. Can you make your STF can you work a little bit more snug or something? It just ruins it a little bit for me, and I'm like, oh god. And then fucking Triple H obviously comes in while he's doing the STF and applies a fucking awesome looking crossface, and I'm like, right, that's how you fucking do it, John.
Yeah, he fully wrenched the neck back and everything.
The pros telling you how to fucking do it.
Yeah.
But with that being said, though, I still really like the match, way above average. All 3 guys have really nice chemistry with each other. John Cena is, pretty much in his prime-ish. Randy Orton's in his prime-ish. Triple H is in the twilight. You would hope the twilight of his career, but
he's kind
not,
of
but like,
beginning the down curve.
Yeah. But really, really good. And it's a rare occasion where a Super Cena doesn't win, and you've got the heel walking away with his title. So yeah,
Cena kind of got jobbed out, really, when you think about it. You know.
Yeah.
Do you know what? As I asked you, what do you think of this match? I was like mouthing along with you. I gave this 3.75. I was like, this is 100% a 3.75 Jack match.
Yes.
Because I went 4.25.
I see. Okay.
I think a lot of the matches at this WrestleMania were very like breezy. Nothing necessarily like overstayed its welcome or had me like, ugh. But yeah, I thought it was really good. Aside from like the STFU, like you said, I thought Triple H was he was a bit much with his underselling of certain things, and like, to be fair, with the finish as well, that was a bit silly. The finish was like, I sat there and I like chuckled to myself. I was like, of course, this is how they fucking did it. Like, Triple H is definitely not taking the pin here.
No.
But yeah, I had a really fun time with it. I think 15 minutes for a triple threat is perfectly fine. I think it helps with the pace of things. Like, it doesn't, and especially I think triple threat matches anyway, because you constantly can have like two guys doing something, so you'd never really get like slow moments. So I'm a big fan of triple threat matches anyway. So yes, happy with this. We move on to Floyd Mayweather versus who? Who is it, Jack? Who's Floyd Mayweather fighting? It's our friend and yours, the Jolly Green Giant, the Big Show. Yeah. My goal with this podcast, okay, I know that we do this as a hobby and we do this for a laugh and whatever, but if somehow, some way, our podcast can reach the lovely, massive ears of Paul White, and he says that he wants to speak to us. My goal with this podcast is to have us in the same room as the Big Show at some point.
That'd be amazing.
Even if it's for a scheduled meet and greet, I don't care.
Oh yeah, no.
And absolutely. I'll tell him all about it. But like,
agree.
You are the main character of our podcast, by the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway, the backstory for this one. At No Way Out, Big Show made his return to the company after taking some time off for injuries, beginning in December 2006. He shows off he's lost like quite a bit of weight. He's slimmed down. Yeah. He's in phenomenal shape. But in his sort of return interview, he threatens to give Rey Mysterio a chokeslam. I think Rey was being like kind of escorted out of the ring after his match, and Big Show was like, get this fucking loser out of here. However, professional boxer and WBC welterweight champion Floyd Money Mayweather, who was in attendance and a close friend of Rey Mysterio's apparently, came to his aid and confronted the Big Show. Big Show dropped to his knees to sort of mock Mayweather and be like, come on then, hit me. Mayweather fucking leathers him with like a combination of punches, which busted Big Show open and made him very furious. The following night on Raw, Big Show challenged Mayweather to a wrestling match, which Mayweather accepted. As part of this story, Big Show arranged an exhibition match with fighter Brandon Hill, who was similar in size and stature to Mayweather. Unimpressed by Big Show's display of dominance over Hill, Mayweather told Big Show that at WrestleMania, I'm going to break your jaw. At their weigh-in for the WrestleMania match, Big Show threw Mayweather into a crowd of wrestlers to emphasize the disparity in size. So that's it. It's mainstream star versus established guy kind of build. Mayweather makes his entrance to some boos that are so loudly piped in it drowns out Lillian Garcia's introduction of him. Big Show is already in the ring at this point, and he's like pacing around the ring like intensely. He's like a lion in a cage, like ready to fucking go. Match starts off and Mayweather is just evading Big Show. He's dodging, dipping, ducking, diving, and dodging before throwing some body shots at Show. But every time Big Show swipes at air, which is kind of comical looking, he's like trying to punch Mayweather, but he's just like swiping over his head, like, huh? Why is this not hitting him? As if Big Show has never wrestled Rey Mysterio. But anyway, Mayweather gets in like a few body shots every now and then. Mayweather gets patted down by a towel by one of his entourage, and Big Show takes exception to this, and he knocks the entourage guy off the apron before bringing in another goon and chopping him in the corner. Show catches a punch from Floyd and attempts to stomp on his fist, but Mayweather escapes just in time. Big Show catches Mayweather again and sits him on the top turnbuckle, but Mayweather jumps on the back of the giant, trying to choke him out. Big Show does drop to a knee, but eventually fights out and stomps on Mayweather's hand successfully this time. Show delivers a deafening chop to Mayweather's chest, which collapses the welterweight, while stepping on Mayweather. He's just literally like stood on Mayweather's back and like holding onto the rope with a fucking big grin. Floyd is attempting to fight back, but Big Show hits him with a sidewalk slam. He leg drops the arm of Mayweather before stepping right across his chest. Mayweather's entourage at this point have had enough, and they begin leaving up the ramp. But Big Show chases them down and drags Mayweather back to the ring. Show knocks out another goon. That sounds... Show takes out one of Mayweather's other entourage members. He doesn't knock one out. Anyway, while attempting a chokeslam, he gets a steel chair to the back by goon number 4. I need to stop writing the word goon down. It has it's very different meaning nowadays, doesn't it? Yeah. Crony number 4. Show does no-sell it, but Mayweather begins wailing on Show with the chair, and after wrapping the chair around the skull of Big Show, Mayweather adorns some brass knuckles and knocks Show out after 11 minutes and 40 seconds. What do we think of the old 11 minute and 40 gooning sesh?
I gotta be honest, mate, this match really wasn't for me. I gave it a 2 out of 5. It was, I guess, fine for a celebrity match, but this is like the fucking sub main event, so it's probably too high on the card for my liking in a like card analysis sense. Everyone gave their all in this, and I could tell that they were trying.
Yeah,
but just like 11 minutes or whatever, it just exposes everyone's limitations. Like, cut it down by like half. You don't need that much time. You're here for the spectacle. Like I think I've said this before. Once you announce a match like this, it doesn't really matter what you do, because everyone is like already got a picture of it in their mind. They're like, oh yeah, cool, that's cool, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter, because it's a millionaire boxer world star against a safe WWE guy, and everyone's happy and making money, right? Fair play to Mayweather for taking, some of the chops and playing along to the wrestling biz. But I guess he must have been paid a hefty fucking wage for 12 minutes of work. So, fair play. But like, I'd get fucking chopped by Big Show for $1 million.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, they did well with what they had. Fuck it, but just not for me. So
yeah, I said the same. I went 2 stars as well.
Oh really?
I'm not hugely into celebrity matches.
No.
I just don't really see the appeal of it, and I think when it's like an American-centric company, it's never someone that you actually care about, No. Like, I'm not going to see Paddy McGuinness in the ring against, like, Kane or something.
Walsh.
Yeah, I want to see Bradley Walsh versus Big Show. Book that.
I'd pay to see Bradley Walsh get chokeslammed.
Bradley Walsh versus Grado. There we go. I do think, though, like, for that sort of... For this time, this was maybe one of the better, like, outsider coming in matches. You said, like, fair play to Mayweather. Like, he obviously wasn't able to take too many bumps for, like, obvious but kind of frustrating reasons. Like, they couldn't risk an injury. He probably had, like, a big fight coming up, and this was part of, like, promotion for that. But yeah, he played up to it. He sold what he needed to sell. He did take some bumps along the way. But yeah, it was it was fine. 2 stars, yeah, cool. Kim Kardashian is back on our screens, and she's here to announce the attendance figures for tonight. She says, I hope you're all having as much fun as I'm having. It was about as convincing as any of her future acting performances. I have watched the American Horror Story season that she's in, she's fucking dog shit at acting, and she needs to not do it anymore. But yeah, she reads out the attendance and she's like, "That's really big. Give yourselves a round of applause." And that's her done for the night. Who do you think made more money, Kim Kardashian or Floyd Mayweather?
I'd probably say Floyd.
Yeah, you're right. Women pay gap. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for your main event of the evening. It's the Undertaker versus Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. This feud has been brewing since the spring of 2007, when Edge cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on Undertaker after a steel cage match against Batista. Edge, however, did have to relinquish the title due to a shoot injury, and not like a shooting injury, like a real life injury. Taker and Batista would again feud during the summer for the World Championship and into the fall. Edge would return, however, at Survivor Series 2007, disguised as a cameraman, and he interfered in the Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Batista, which cost Undertaker the match. At Armageddon the following month, thanks to help from Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, Edge would once again reclaim the World Heavyweight Championship from Undertaker. At No Way Out 2008, Undertaker would last eliminate Batista in an Elimination Chamber match to become the number one contender to Edge's World Championship. Edge, along with his Edgeheads Hawkins and Ryder, would beat Taker in a 3-on-1 handicap match on an episode of SmackDown, and then prepared a mock funeral the following week to eulogize the impending loss of Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, which at this point stood at 15-0. In classic campy wrestling fashion, however, Undertaker emerged from the casket which was in the ring and attacked Hawkins, Ryder and Edge before delivering a tombstone piledriver to Vicky Guerrero, who was Edge's on-screen girlfriend at the time, and it was very icky, ooh, no good. This is Undertaker's first WrestleMania main event since WrestleMania 13, when he defeated Psycho Sid for the WWF Championship, and it would be his last until WrestleMania 33. Correct, Jack? Well done.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were prompting me.
You thought I'd just cut out for a second and went,
No, I thought you were going to answer your...
Oh, no. Well, I did in the end.
My bad. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. My bad.
Yes, his next WrestleMania main event was at the same venue, and
the one where I was sick outside of the venue.
I'm glad that you brought it up.
Watched him retire.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought it up, and I didn't have to be the one to say it first. But yes, you were outside of that walkabout, throwing up onto the street while I rubbed your back and went, "Oh my god, he's putting his hat in the ring! Oh, he's putting his coat in the ring!" And you were like, "What, really?" So yeah. Edge is main eventing his very first WrestleMania, and his next main event of WrestleMania would be...
Oh, I want to say 37.
Correct. 2021.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. His triple threat match for the Universal Championship against Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 37. Yes. The
Stack
numbers...
Pin 'em.
Yeah, it was a fucking amazing match as well.
Yeah, I like that one, yeah.
Yes. The numbers are in Edge's favor here. He at this point has never lost to The Undertaker, which is very interesting. But we get into the match here, and unnerved by Undertaker's mind games, Edge goes right after the challenger. But Taker causes some separation by hanging Edge up on the top rope and delivering some heavy blows in the corner to the champion. Is Undertaker the best pure striker in the history of sports entertainment?
Is that what Michael Cole thinks?
Probably. They usually say that, don't they? It's like, Undertaker is the best pure striker. The Revival love cutting the ring in half.
Yeah.
You know, these empty platitudes. Shane McMahon is a sweaty bastard. I think Shane McMahon's actually the best pure striker in sports entertainment. But
I reckon
alas,
so.
Yeah.
Super fast.
Yeah. Super fast, super scary. Like a marsupial. Taker gets an early 2 count before attempting to go old school. Edge, however, counters this, but Taker counters the counter and stays in control. A hip attack from the dead man in the corner is slightly overzealous, and he flies out of the ring over the top rope. That's a few times that's happened on this show. They must have oiled it up or something.
Yeah.
Edge does take advantage of this, however, and he attempts to keep Taker out of the ring. Edge does, however, eventually join him, targeting the lower back and kidneys of The Undertaker. Mean Mark is now back in the ring, but Edge is maintaining control, continuing to target the lower back of his opponent with elbow drops and stomps. Taker attempts to scoop up Edge, but the back gives way, and Edge gets a 2 count for his troubles. Edge goes up top, but Taker throws him to the floor below. Taker, perhaps in the shape of his life, like he's looking real jacked, baby. Like he's looking very good. He flies over the top rope and dives onto the Rated R Superstar below. He then hits a vintage apron leg drop on Edge. And the momentum is now starting to swing in favor of the number 1 contender after a 2 count. Taker tries to set up Edge for a last ride, but again the bad back gives way and Edge hits Undertaker with a big boot for a 2. Edge drops the Phenom over the barricade, who takes a bad landing in the front row. He like kind of crumples up in half. He goes like a folding chair. Edge, however, doesn't allow Taker time to recover. Smart. As he rolls him back in the ring, locking in a single leg Boston Crab in the middle of the ring. Taker eventually rolls out for a 2 count, but Edge recovers quickly and ties Taker up into a leg lock again. Taker is struggling to get to his feet now, but eventually both men begin trading blows, as Jonathan Coachman refers to Undertaker as a tremendous striker, no doubt referring to his 29 goals in 40 games for West Ham United. Edge goes for a flying nothing, but Taker catches him, twice attempting a chokeslam, but Edge reverses it into a DDT for a 2 count once again. Edge goes for a spear, but Taker blocks it and hits a chokeslam at the 3rd time of asking. 2! Taker once again sets up for old school, but Edge crotches him on the top turnbuckle, delivering a superplex to his challenger. Edge is raining down punches on Taker in the corner, but Taker hoists him up for a last ride, which is reversed into a neckbreaker by Edge for another 2. Undertaker finally pulls off a last ride, but Edge kicks out just in time. Undertaker tells the crowd it's time for the Tombstone Piledriver, but Edge hits, I think, the Edge-O-Matic, or the Edgecutioner, or the Edge-O-Magori, one of them. He gets another 2 count anyway. It's essentially his version of the Blue Thunder Bomb. It never wins matches. 3rd time is the charm once again for Undertaker as he hits the old school finally, but Edge does dodge a big boot from the dead man, and referee Jimmy Corderas gets a face full of dead man boot. Edge hits a low blow on Taker, but the referee is down and misses it. Edge tackles the cameraman to the ground and whacks Undertaker over the head with the camera. Edge attempts to get the referee to come to, but Jimmy rolls off the apron and Taker sits up. Edge attempts a tombstone, but Undertaker reverses it into a tombstone of his own. He covers Edge and Charles Robinson comes running for his fucking life into the ring. But again, Edge kicks out at 2. Hawkins and Ryder now appear on the apron, but Undertaker quickly dispatches them with a chokeslam. The distraction is enough, however, for Edge to hit a spear, though. Taker gets his shoulder off the mat just about. Edge hits another spear, but Taker turns it into a Hell's Gate submission, and Edge taps out after 24 minutes and 3 seconds. Undertaker goes 16-0 and wins the World Heavyweight Championship once again. Jack, what did we think of this one?
I fucking loved this. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, the same as the Flair Michaels match. It was fucking great. Edge was so fucking good here. So good. And at points in this match, he made you genuinely feel like that he might fucking actually end the streak.
Yeah, there was
and it was like, oh my god, he could, oh my god, you know, like all of the like false finishes at the end, and the ratcheting up of the drama, and you know, bringing in the camera and low blow and antics and counters on counters. Oh god, it was so good. Lots of close calls on both sides, really, because you know, when Taker was starting to really get into the gears and not able to put Edge away, you were like, oh fuck. Like, oh shit. Yeah, really good. The only downside about this match is the commentary team were just not really on it. I would say they were fine, but like,
it wasn't WrestleMania main event. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. Yeah. When it's the main event of WrestleMania, you like, the commentators should like fucking lock in, and they're like calling it like it's a life or death sort of thing, and it just felt like a fucking, you know, it could have been on Raw the way they were fucking talking about it. There wasn't a lot of They just needed to make it a little bit more grand and as if it mattered a little bit more, I think. But yeah, I mean, I loved the streak video package before the match. That helped to hype it up.
Yes.
With Edge as a genuine threat, and I mean that was communicated throughout the match. Like I said, I think on the commentary point, it was probably Coachman. I don't think he's a very good commentator. But yeah, I mean, having the world title involved as well as a streak, fucking hell! What bigger stakes are there in WWE in 2008 other than a world title and the Undertaker streak that they're taking ultra seriously? So yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, I'm glad that this went on as the main event as well. Yes. Because like you said, it really sells the importance of not just the heavyweight championship, but the streak. And also, you know, these guys have basically been feuding on and off for a year, you know. But I really like the story of Edge just kind of knowing everything Undertaker has in his locker. Like you said, there was so many like counters and counters to counters, but he didn't quite have enough to overcome like Taker's WrestleMania damage buff. And there was so many close calls in this match that you could have been like, this could actually be the one that breaks the streak. Yeah. But you know, it didn't. I went 4.75 for this. I was just really drawn in by like the, you know, and obviously, you know, I know the result of it. I've watched this match countless times, but it still like hooks you, and it's just yeah, it's superb. And for a WrestleMania main event with all of that drama and it also being a good in-ring match as well, kudos to them. Did you give an overall show rating for WrestleMania 24?
I did. I gave WrestleMania 24 a 4.25 out of 5. I had fun, and it was a nice Mania, and I had a good time. So, yeah.
I also went 4.25. I had fun. It was a good WrestleMania, and I enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah, there was, I mean, you know, we did have a dud. We did have a 1.5, but I think the good on this show far outweighed the mediocre and the bad. And
if you think about my rebooking instead and just plug that in, then you're fine.
This is, and I think after rewatching this WrestleMania, it did solidify itself as still being my personal favorite WrestleMania, which I was glad about, because I remember going back to Unforgiven, and there was kind of a few matches in there that I was like, this wasn't so good actually, and I kind of had that same fear about this show, but I got to fucking 2 5-star matches, baby, you know?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
A 4.75. I did go and do some nerd maths as well. My average match rating for this show was 3 stars. I then went and retroactively did some maths for our 2 previous shows for this same metric. So my average match rating for Money in the Bank 2011, which I also gave 4.25, was 3.6 stars. So that goes to show you that my ratings are full of shit and I don't know what I'm doing. However, if we go to the land of opportunity, Saudi Arabia, and we look at Crown Jewel 2018, my average match rating for this show, sorry, I gotta fucking go all the way, there's so many pages of just shit about this show. My average match rating for this show was 1.7 stars, which I think actually does hold up based on the quality of that show. Jack, would you like to know who the worst dressed and best dressed were for this show?
Please tell me.
So, worst dressed for this show goes to the MAGA wife herself, Michelle McCool. She was part of the Playboy Bunny Mania match, whatever it was called, as a Lumberjill, and she was wearing, you know, those kind of like sparkly sequin dresses that, like, you know, Karen from HR wears to like the Christmas party, and it's like, oh look, I'm fun, you know, or like women in their late 20s who have no personality wear to the Taylor Swift concerts. She was wearing one of those, and it just, like, there was no sort of shape to it. It just kind of draped off her. It looked fucking shit. And I think she was just wearing some like brown boots with it as well. It was terrible. It was an awful, awful, awful look. Michelle McCool, get in the bin. Go fucking host your podcast or whatever. Best dressed. Before I reveal my best dressed, I would like to give a honorable mention to Lillian Garcia.
Nice.
First of all, just shouts out to Lillian Garcia. Incredible ring announcer. And she was wearing this like mermaid-esque, like aquamarine blue, like wrapped number. And you know, Lillian Garcia, she's in phenomenal shape. She's got a fantastic figure. She's obviously, she stays in the gym. She keeps herself looking well. And it complemented her very nicely. She had some gold bangles on her too. Very nice. Big fan of what she was wearing. However, my best dress did have to go to Ric Flair for the night.
Nice, yeah.
I love a robe. I'm a big fan of a robe. And he pulled out all the stops for this one. It's lovely, like royal blue. And instead of like, normally he would have like the kind of open chest bit where, you know, he's showing off a bit of his chest with like the ruffles and stuff. This one went like all the way up to his neck and kind of had like a little clasp on it as well. And then the blue tights, or the blue trunks with the blue boots. It's just very nice colour. And also I really liked the colour of the ring ropes during this show. They were like a nice orange colour, which I've not seen before or since. So I'd also like to honourable mention the WrestleMania 24 ring as being one of the best dressed of the night. Good for her. Yeah. Jack, I can't wait to ask this question. Where are we going next week?
So I had a little think and I was like, you know what, we are doing a lot of WWE/WWF. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because they, you know, hold the market share and did so during the time that, I mean, we were talking about. What else did you have? It was TNA. Anyway, we're going to be looking back at and reviewing AEW's first ever Double or Nothing from 2019, and we're gonna see it. We're gonna, like, I haven't seen it since then for 7 years. It'll be interesting to see how AEW is now compared to when it first started out, and then comparisons to WWE then and now as well. I think it'll be a fun show. I think it'll be a fun show for us to look back on.
I agree. I'm looking forward to that one, actually. I love doing an AEW show, even though both times it's been you that suggested it, which makes it sound like I don't actually love doing an AEW show. But I do. I love watching them. They're just very long. That's the only thing.
I'll give you a spoiler. There'll be another one on the horizon as well, because I fucking love me some AEW. So.
Good. And then we're also going to one in a few months' time.
We are.
So it'll be good to kind of get in the mood for it.
Yes, and we'll probably, I imagine it would suit us to potentially do a podcast reflecting on that very show as well and do a bit of a special. So, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's been WrestleMania 24. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We have an Instagram page, Smark and Soul Pod, where I post really cool looking posters that I make in about half an hour.
You are really good at those posters.
I do have fun. I do have fun with those. She loves to have fun, Margle. Sometimes I'll just post some goofy memes and stuff, and also like talk shit about Spotify and other such fun activities. So give us a follow on there if you've made it this far in the podcast and not been put off by my hay fever ridden voice. But yeah, that's going to be goodbye from me till next week.
And goodbye from me. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.